And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Up first, we've got hazardous weather graphic up to the north here. Winter weather advisory on the western Arctic coast down to Cape Lisburne and Point Hope for snow and blowing snow, reducing visibilities there with winds gusting over 50 miles an hour. Then a blizzard warning here for the northwest coast, Kivalina and Shishmaref, Wales, Tin City, Steller, those areas. That's a blizzard warning out for gusty north winds and whiteout conditions at times and blowing snow. And then back to a winter weather advisory there for St. Lawrence Island. Winter weather advisory here over the Koyukuk Valley areas to near Ambler for snow and blowing snow there. And then heavier snow expected here over the Yukon Flats area down to about the White Mountains there north of Fairbanks for continued heavy snowfall with gusty winds resulting in greatly reduced visibilities in some areas. And then for the greater Fairbanks area eastward here across the mid and upper Tanana Valley, 40-mile country, winter weather advisories out, and then winter storm warning continues out until 9 p.m. for the Copper River Basin tonight for the heavy snow. It should start tapering off sometime toward midnight. And a winter weather advisory mainly this evening here for the Anchorage area and western Prince William Sound down towards Seward for snow, blowing snow, a few more inches falling tonight here in these areas. And now for the southeast coast, high wind warning out for the Sitka area as well as the southern panhandle, looking at a high wind warning there. Winds from the south-southeast, can't leave the Juneau Borough out. All the red shaded areas here are under the influence of a high wind warning for winds out of the south and southeast, or in some cases east-southeast, 25 to 35 miles an hour with gusts above 60 miles per hour. Then the yellow shaded areas here across the panhandle, that's for a flood watch that continues out tonight into tomorrow. And here going to the west, winter weather advisory for the Alaska Peninsula. Winds anywhere from 40 to 55 miles an hour out of the north and northwest, producing snow and blowing snow for the peninsula with reducing visibilities down to half mile or less at times there. That's out tonight into tomorrow morning. And satellite imagery showing the flow of cold air continuing to come down across the eastern Bering Sea, picking up a lot of moisture and dropping that as snow with those gusty winds there. The Alaska Peninsula, also Pribilof Island, seeing winds gusting 40 to 55 miles an hour as well. A little bit lighter, but still windy with snow showers for the eastern Aleutian areas. And then flow from south to north here, just the opposite, what we're seeing over the eastern Bering Sea, pulling a lot of moisture up into the panhandle today, anywhere from a ½ inch to 1.5 inches of rainfall falling across the southeast coast during the day today. And even Cordova picking up another 1.25 inches as well. With winds, let's see, Cape Decision had a peak wind gust of 65 miles per hour. And Ketchikan, farther to the south there, off to the southeast actually, had peak wind gust of 58 miles an hour. And Sitka and Juneau both seeing gusts around 50 miles an hour today. Otherwise, areas of snow here over all of the eastern interior, right up to the eastern Arctic coast. Drier with some clearing actually here over the western part of the state with temperatures near or below zero in many areas there. And then you can see the cirrus shield there with the next system, rolling this through again. Next system just coming into the Shimian-Attu area. It's a much stronger one than the previous one. And on the chart today, we've got, again, low pressure here just south of Prince William Sound, bringing anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of snow across south central Alaska today and into the Copper River Basin, north, central, eastern interior, over to the Canadian border, northward to the Arctic coast on the east side, drier conditions to the west. Drier also over the western interior, numerous snow showers or just continuous light snow with those gusty north winds pulling the Arctic air southward all the way to the eastern Aleutians and beyond, with stronger winds for the Alaska Peninsula. Weak low brought some rain and snow into Adak and Atka today, but that sliding off to the southeast, not much of a factor. And here's a front bringing these strong winds and heavy rain into the Panhandle today. For tonight, that front will push through into western Canada, and so precipitation and winds will begin to diminish once that pushes on through. Low pressure remains here just south of the Kenai Peninsula. Another low develops up over the southeast interior over toward, south of Dawson, somewhere in that area. And areas of snow continue again northward from Kodiak Island. Could see some snow shower activity working into there. There's a kind of clear day there today with temperatures back below freezing, actually into the 20s. And snow and blowing snow for the passes of the Brooks Range as well, but lighter winds for the Arctic coast and North Slope. And again, snow showers, gusty winds continue from the Bering Strait right down across the Alaska Peninsula, beginning to lighten up now over the eastern Aleutians and Pribilofs, both the snowfall and the winds, as this next big strong storm out to the west there begins to nudge that narrow ridge of high pressure eastward. And that continues into tomorrow. Look for a light wind day for the Pribilofs, as also coming into the eastern Aleutians, with rain spreading in behind that front with gale force winds for the western Aleutians pushing in toward Adak and Atka. That front already starting to weaken here down in the portions that's near the Aleutians. Otherwise, snow, central eastern interior, drier, colder out to the west, and stays wet for the Panhandle and for Thursday. Another frontal system develops here, but not as strong as the one we're seeing today, but that'll keep it wet, windy, and mild there for the southeast coast. Still a chance of snow, some of that moisture working in from the east there, Copper River Basin areas and North Gulf Coast. Lesser chances of some light snow conditions there, but still wet for the eastern and central North Gulf Coast, again about Cordova eastward to Yakutat. Could see some clearing here over south central Alaska, down to Kodiak Island, and a good portion of the actually southwest interior, northward up there to the Brooks Range. And this front spreading precipitation. It'll be a snow changing to rain situation for the eastern Aleutians, eventually the Pribilof Islands there, as this system, not all that strong, 995 millibars, strongest winds and heaviest precipitation will be back to the northwest. And for the lows tonight, west and north of the Alaska Range, below zero, anywhere from 5 to 20 below, more of a 20 to 30 below pattern up there over the western North Slope and the Brooks Range, with the 0 degree isotherm all the way out to the southwest coast and Bristol Bay. 20s for the Alaska Peninsula, 30s for the Aleutians, and 30s for the Panhandle. Highs tomorrow, upper 30s to lower 40s for the southeast coast, and anywhere from 15 to 20 for south central Alaska and the Kenai Peninsula, about the same for the Copper River Basin, and below zero west and north of the Alaska Range areas, with 20s for the Bering Sea. Upper 30s to lower 40s here, actually warming as you head west here, mid 40s to the Shimiat 2 area. High tomorrow, 21. Forecast for Kodiak Island, 0 to 5 for Bristol Bay. And for the lows Thursday morning, again below zero now, including the Copper River Basin. Call it anywhere from 5 below to 10 above here for south central Alaska. 14 for Homer, Seldovia, and Kodiak. Below zero in Bristol Bay. And near zero out along the southwest coast, Makoriak, around 14, and 20s for the Pribilofs. Lows 30s to lower 40s for the Aleutians. Upper 20s, lower 30s for the northern Panhandle, a little milder to the south. And then highs in the 40s from Yakutat all the way down to Dixon Entrance. Upper 40s for Craig and Klawock, Ketchikan, and those areas, Heidelberg. Below zero, well below 10 to 15 below for the highs for the Kuskokwim Valley, and 0 to 5 below for the highs for Bristol Bay. Otherwise, below zero again all the way up to the Arctic coast for Thursday afternoon, but warming up here for the Pribilofs, mid-30s with that front and warmer air coming in, mid-40s for the central Aleutians, and still teens and 20s and lower 30s for the Alaska Peninsula.